Hello, everybody. We are going live because this is what we always do every Thursday, 12 o'clock Eastern time. So give me a second to just get set up. If you're a regular watcher, you probably know the drill by now. Gives me a minute to just go live, share it out to a few people, and then we will get started. Okay, so we're live. We're live on Instagram as well. Awesome. Okay, so hey everyone, my name is Rachel Joy. I'm a lifestyle designer if you have not yet come across me. And I want to talk to you about becoming friends with the unknown. This topic was inspired by a conversation I had with a friend last week. So I have a friend who just recently went through a really bad breakup, and he's just brokenhearted to the max. Like, he keeps calling me, not knowing what to do with himself, and it doesn't matter how many times we process things, it just keeps coming back to the same fear-based thoughts, which are like, what if she meets someone else, or what if we never get back together, or what if I never meet someone else? Like, just totally what if, fear-based, and that's not serving him, and it's keeping him stuck in the past. So uncertainty is scary AF. I will totally agree, but it's also a part of life. We, as humans, are often attached to the outcome of people, places, and things, and that is because majority of our thoughts are done through our mind rather than our heart, and majority of our time in our mind, we're living from an egoic, fear-based place. So those thoughts don't serve us. So when I was talking to my friend and we're trying to process this through, he finally got to it. He said, yeah, you're right. I guess I got to become friends with the unknown. And I loved the way he said that. I was like, you fucking just gave me my topic for next week. Thank you so much. Because rather than being scared of the unknown, we should learn to embrace the unknown and become friends with it. And I could totally relate to his fears because I used to crave certainty. Like, about a year ago, I knocked off certainty as my #1 need. There's 6 human needs, according to Tony Robbins, if you Google the 6 human core needs. And one of them is certainty versus uncertainty. So when I was going through this process of examining my own human needs, certainty was my #1. I always needed to feel safe, and the way I felt safe was by certainty. So the thing is that I'm getting so many hearts on Instagram. Thank you, everybody. When you, where was I? Certainty. Okay, so there's healthy ways and unhealthy ways of gaining whichever need it is. So for me, it was certainty. So a healthy way of gaining certainty would, for example, be going to work out, because I am guaranteed a certain outcome every single time I work out. I know I'm going to feel good after, I'm going to feel happy, I'm going to feel strong, I'm going to feel empowered, I'm going to feel motivated, right? No one, you've probably seen that meme on Instagram many times that you see, like, the quote, no one says ever after a workout, I wish I never did that. It's so true. After a workout, you're happy that you did it. So that is a positive way of gaining certainty. A negative way of gaining certainty is trying to manipulate people, places, and things to get the outcome that you want, because you're attaching to the outcome. So I knew this topic had to be talked about. Thank you so much for the love. I knew this topic had to be talked about, and I didn't know what the hell I was going to say. I was like, what am I going to talk about? What am I going to talk about? So then last night, it's just so interesting how the universe always gives you what you need. The other night, I was in bed reading the Seven Spiritual Laws of Success by Deepak Chopra. And the chapter that I was on was called The Law of Detachment, and it's all about uncertainty. And so I was literally just marking up the entire book. It was just pure gold. And I was like, oh my God, I am sharing this with everyone on Thursday. So I'm going to share, I've highlighted a few things, and I'm going to share them with you. So the law of detachment says that in order to acquire anything in the physical universe, you have to relinquish your attachment to it. So that's not to say that you can't have desires. That just means that you have to let go of the outcome. Don't cling onto the result. Let the universe work that for you, because when you're clinging, you tend to get less of what you want. So those who seek security chase it for a lifetime without ever finding it. And so the more security you get, the more security you'll crave. So for example, a perfect way of thinking about it is that high-class businessman who has millions of dollars in his bank account, yet it's never enough, right? The more security we want or we have, the more we're going to need, because it's never enough. And so this was probably the most powerful part of the chapter. I loved it so much. So get ready. Okay, here we go. This means that the search for security and certainty are actually an attachment to the known. And what's the known? The known is our past. The known is nothing other than the prison of our past conditioning. There's no evolution in that. Absolutely none at all. And when there is no evolution, there is stagnation, entropy, disorder, and decay. So essentially, when we are seeking certainty, or when we value certainty in our life, we're clinging onto an outcome from our past. And we all know that the past is the past. You can't really change it, and you can't really bring it into the future either. So by clinging into the past, it takes away the beauty and the joy that we have today. And by clinging onto the past, we are unable to grow into our higher self that serves us today and for our future self as well. And if you don't grow in this present moment, we're certainly not going to have a brighter future, because like that quote was saying, we're in stagnation. We're just staying still. And when you're staying still, there's no growth. You don't change. No, there's no success. There's no happiness. It's just death almost, basically. Tony Robbins always says, if you're not growing, you're dying. And that's what this quote is talking about. We always have to be evolving and moving forward. And so one way of doing that is by not clinging on to certainty, which is not clinging on to the past, stepping into the unknown. So living with uncertainty, or living in uncertainty, provides room for creativity and freedom, because there's no expectations. So despite the fact that you don't know what's coming up, without holding on to the past, there's no expectations of how things should be, meaning there's less room for disappointment. There's more room for magic. The possibilities of what you could be, see, do, feel, or even have are totally endless when you are living in uncertainty, because there is no negative vibe that you're putting out there saying, I need this from the past. I need to bring this forward, right? So the possibilities are endless when you're living in uncertainty. And yes, it's scary as fuck. And yes, it's a lot easier said than done, but I've discovered a few things that you can do or practice to help you get into that place of uncertainty and embracing uncertainty, rather than clinging on to the past and clinging on to certainty, because that's meant to keep us small and it's meant to keep us safe. So what can you do? So the first one's a very, very easy one. What is one thing that you've wanted to do for some time, and there's this little voice in your head that says, yeah, but I'm scared. What if blank? Whenever you have that little voice come in, next time you notice it, make some time to schedule into your calendar that thing that you want to do. Step into uncertainty. Do that thing that you were scared to do. For a lot of people, and for me, that was hiring a high-level coach, because I was scared that I was going to waste my money, which I am so grateful I did, because the minute you say yes to something is the minute the transformation occurs. Hey, Danny, mwah, thank you for sending love. So continuing on, number 2, when a person, this one's where the real test is. When a person in your life, whether that's a family member, a friend, a coworker, to something that says or does something that you don't like or you don't necessarily agree with, just take a minute to sit back and embrace their own way, embrace their own being. You know, we're all complex human beings, and we're all entitled to do things our way while still being loved. So you shouldn't try and manipulate them to do it your way so that you get the desired outcome. Let people be themselves. Bottom line, let them be themselves, because they have a certain path and you have a certain path. And they won't always be the same, and they won't always meet and have the exact same formula. The next is, I have a few other tools that you could use. So those are simple things that you can bring into your daily life, but I have a few other tools that you could use. So if you haven't checked out my Healthy Body, Happy Heart Challenge, there's journaling prompts in there that can really help you focus in on busting through fears. There's a whole patch of questions all about fears. And so that would be really helpful for you. But I'm actually running a challenge, like a group challenge with that right now. So if you are interested, there's workouts in there, meal plans, recipes, daily journaling prompts, a private Facebook group, and I'm going to include group coaching. And that's all for $11. Like, it's so freaking cheap. And part of the reason why I decided this was more for accountability, because I need to get back on track as well. So it's super cheap. I'm including the coaching for free. Usually it's just a guide that you do yourself. And we have 3 spots left for that. So if you are interested in it, just message me. I'll get you in the group, and it'll be crazy freaking awesome. And then the other one you can do is go to on my website. I have a freebie tab, and there's a manifestation timeline on there. And so what you can do is, there's a timeline of like 2 to 3 months, 6 months, a year, 5 years, 10 years. I want you to write down what it is that you desire. And then usually there's this anxiety that comes up of, but how am I going to achieve that? Rather than going to that place and saying, how is this going to happen for me? I want you to just trust. Trust that it'll happen. Step into the uncertainty of it and know that it will be provided for you. And in that timeline, there's a little bit of directions on how to do it, and it gives you steps on how to achieve what you want. So there's a little bit of the how, but a big part of it is trust. So that's going to help you practice your trust, meaning every time you have to step into uncertainty, it's going to make it a little easier. So that's all I have for you guys today. If you found value in this, I am hosting a live, totally free, no sneaky sales at the end, 3-day event next week starting Friday, all about how to manage anxiety naturally. So each day we're going to do a different component. So Friday we're going to look at managing anxiety naturally through the mind. Saturday we're going to be looking at managing anxiety naturally through the body. And then Sunday, the last day, we're going to be looking at managing anxiety naturally through the spirit. So I've posted the link on Facebook. It's right there if you do want to sign up. It's totally free, no sneaky sales. It's just because this is something that I struggled with for many years, and I think so many people need to hear this. There's so many people out there who still need a solution, and so I want to make that available to you guys. On Instagram, if you do want to sign up for the free event, you can click the link in my bio. And other than that, I am so happy you guys are here. I wish you all the love, health, happiness, and success. And I hope to see you on the event next week. Love you all. Mwah. Have a good day, guys.